This was supposed to be the dream life, a golden football dynasty, billionaire money, and a wedding that had the world watching in awe. The Beckhams and the Peltzes looked like royalty, wrapped in designer suits, private jets, and those perfect Instagram smiles. But behind the flawless filters and red carpet grins, something was falling apart, and Brooklyn Beckham just lit the fuse. He didn't just talk, he exposed everything. What started as a few quiet whispers about wedding drama has now exploded into a full-blown public showdown that's shaking Hollywood's elite. No one saw it coming, and now Brooklyn and Nicola are standing their ground, refusing to back down, no matter how messy it gets. Fans are losing it online, wondering how a fairy tale this glamorous could turn into a family feud this brutal. The fallout is growing so fast that people are asking if this could actually damage the Beckham legacy for good. Brooklyn Beckham has been living under the spotlight since the day he was born, literally. As the oldest child of David and Victoria Beckham, fame wasn't a choice, it was a lifestyle. Cameras, headlines, and constant comparisons followed him everywhere. But now, Brooklyn's saying something no one expected. What the world saw as privilege was actually a cage. He hinted that the same empire that built his name also trapped him, leaving him no space to breathe, grow, or make his own choices. And for years, insiders have whispered about tension between Brooklyn, his wife Nicola Peltz, and the Beckham family. But this time, it's not whispers anymore, it's war. For the longest time, people thought it was just the usual family tension, nothing serious, just handled behind closed doors like any powerful family would. But everything changed the moment Brooklyn dropped a multi-part statement that shook both fans and insiders to the core. In it, he claimed his parents tried to control his life, meddled in his marriage, and always put brand Beckham above his own happiness. The biggest bombshell? He made it clear he's not looking for reconciliation. That one line flipped everything upside down and left the world stunned.
What is that relationship like, just walking around the house with them? Like, are they just the best?
They're really the best people. And I'm so excited Victoria's here tonight, and it means the world to me. She made my outfit, she customized this beautiful look, and I'm just so happy to have her here tonight.
To really understand how things got this wild, you've got to rewind to April 2022, the wedding that looked like something straight out of a movie. Brooklyn and Nicola's Palm Beach celebration had over 500 guests, top-tier celebrities, and every luxury you could imagine. It was held at the Peltz family's breathtaking oceanfront estate, and for a moment it seemed like pure perfection. But behind those golden smiles and million-dollar photos, the cracks were already forming. Brooklyn revealed that the first real blow-up started with the wedding dress. According to him, Victoria Beckham had originally offered to design Nicola's gown, but suddenly pulled out at the last minute. Nicola ended up wearing Valentino instead, but Brooklyn says that switch caused a wave of emotional chaos during what was supposed to be their happiest day. What looked like a fairy tale moment might have actually been the start of a deep family rift that's still unraveling today.
It was the hardest period for us because it felt like the world was against us. And here's the thing, we were against each other, if I'm being completely honest.
The Beckham side never made an official statement about the drama, but soon after, different stories started flying everywhere. It became clear this wasn't just some innocent misunderstanding, it was a full-on power play. The whispers turned into headlines, and then came the scene that still gets talked about today, the wedding dance. According to Brooklyn, this was supposed to be his and Nicola's magical first dance, a moment they'd remember forever. But when singer Mark Anthony took the mic, things suddenly flipped in the most shocking way. Instead of calling Nicola to the dance floor, Mark reportedly said, "Let's welcome the most beautiful woman in the room, Victoria." Brooklyn claims Nicola froze, then ran out in tears while the entire crowd looked on in disbelief. And if that wasn't enough, he says Victoria started dancing with him, her own son, right there in front of hundreds of guests.
There was some horrible stories that were difficult to deal with.
Brooklyn later said the whole thing felt painfully awkward and humiliating, explaining that he was even told to put his hands on his mother's hips while his new bride was crying off stage. Witnesses described the atmosphere as tense and strange, with guests exchanging uneasy looks and no one knowing what to do. That one dance changed everything for Brooklyn. It turned what should have been a beautiful moment into something he says he'll never forget for the wrong reasons. The tension ran so deep that, according to him, he and Nicola later decided to renew their vows in private just to reclaim what was stolen from their wedding night. For Brooklyn, that wedding dance wasn't just an awkward scene. It became a symbol of something much deeper. It marked the moment he says boundaries were crossed and control was taken from him, a reminder that his parents weren't ready to let him truly live his own life. It wasn't just about a dance anymore. It was about power, identity, and freedom. But according to Brooklyn, that was only the beginning. In his statement, he went even further, claiming that before the wedding, his parents tried to pressure him into giving up the rights to his own name. He says that decision could have changed everything: his business ventures, his marriage, even his children's future. That's not just family tension, that's personal identity on the line. Not long after, fans noticed something major. Brooklyn quietly updated his name to Brooklyn Peltz Beckham. What once looked like just a creative rebrand suddenly made perfect sense. It was his way of breaking free, a public sign that he was no longer just living under the brand Beckham shadow, but carving his own path. Brooklyn also opened up about how love in the Beckham household came with conditions. He said affection and support started to depend on what looked good for the brand. Attending events, posting perfect photos, showing up at fashion weeks. Miss a show, skip a photo op, or forget a brand-friendly post, and suddenly the warmth disappeared. That, he says, is when he realized even family love had become part of the business.
Since dropping his explosive statement, Brooklyn and Nicola haven't seemed shaken one bit. Photos of the two strolling through Malibu, hand in hand, smiling and calm, show a couple completely at peace with their decision. Sources close to them say they finally feel free, as if a massive emotional weight has been lifted after years of trying to hold everything together. They're reportedly relieved that the truth is out and that they no longer have to pretend everything's picture perfect. At 26, Brooklyn now seems focused on living life his way, far from the constant pressure of the Beckham empire. He's poured his energy into new projects, diving deep into his passion for food with his Cooking with Brooklyn series, launching his own golden hot sauce, building his lifestyle brand, Cloud 23, and investing in ventures that have nothing to do with his famous last name. It's clear he's carving his own lane and proving he doesn't need to rely on the Beckham legacy to make moves. For Brooklyn, this isn't some rebellion, it's pure survival. He's not trying to burn bridges, he's trying to breathe again. Meanwhile, the silence from the Beckham side has been deafening. David and Victoria haven't said a single word, no statement, no defense, no olive branch. Insiders say the family feels deeply hurt, but they're staying quiet to avoid turning this already messy situation into an all-out public war. Still, the fallout keeps spreading. Reports say Brooklyn has blocked his parents on social media and only allows communication through lawyers now. His younger siblings have kept things neutral in public, but fans have noticed small, subtle online gestures that hint there might be way more happening behind the scenes. Every little move now seems loaded. Song choices, captions, even the timing of posts have fans analyzing every detail and wondering whose side are they really on. But underneath all the online buzz, there's a bigger question that's impossible to ignore. Is this feud just emotional, or does it run way deeper than that? For years, Brand Beckham stood as the perfect model of unity, family loyalty, and global success. They were the definition of a power family, untouchable, admired, and flawlessly in sync. But now, that carefully polished image is starting to crack right in front of the world.
and what we're seeing might just be the tip of something much bigger. When Brooklyn accused his parents of putting Brand Beckham ahead of their own family, he didn't just air personal drama, he shook the foundation of a 25-year-old empire. The Beckhams spent decades building their name with precision, talent, discipline, and total control over how the world saw them. Every red carpet appearance, every candid photo, every sweet family moment, it was all part of a carefully executed image that said, this isn't just a famous family, this is the family. But Brooklyn's words blew a hole right through that illusion. He basically said the perfection was an act, and that behind the glossy photos, there was pressure, control, and exhaustion. He described growing up with this constant feeling that he couldn't just be himself, that every move he made had to protect the brand. Whether it was modeling, photography, or acting, it all had to fit the Beckham blueprint. To the world, it looked glamorous, but to Brooklyn, it sounds like it became a lifetime of anxiety, where even his personal dreams had to match a family script that wasn't fully his own. No matter what Brooklyn tried, nothing seemed to land, and the critics didn't hold back. They slapped him with the label Nepo Baby, a tag he's admitted has followed him everywhere like a shadow. To the public, his life looked like pure privilege, but to Brooklyn, it felt like living under a microscope, never allowed to fail quietly, never allowed to be just human. That's what makes Nicola's arrival in his life so powerful. She came from a totally different world, still wealthy and well-known, but raised in a family that valued privacy, closeness, and real connection over public perfection. By her own words, the Peltz household wasn't about image, it was about being there for each other. Brooklyn has said that meeting Nicola showed him what a calm, genuine kind of love could look like, and once he experienced that, there was no going back. But the most emotional part of Brooklyn's story isn't about money, fame, or designer brands. It's about something much simpler: dogs. He claimed that during the devastating Los Angeles wildfires, Nicola reached out to Victoria for help rehoming displaced animals, and according to him, his mother refused to get involved. That single claim stunned fans. It hit different. It wasn't about ego or status, it was about basic compassion. Whether there's more to the story or not, that moment became symbolic for Brooklyn, a sign of how distant things had become when he was hoping for warmth, empathy, and family support. For him, it wasn't just about animals, it was about realizing that even the smallest gestures could reveal who truly cared. That's exactly why this feud has become so explosive, because there aren't any clear villains here, just two sides telling completely different versions of the same story. Online reactions have been wildly divided. Some people are standing behind Brooklyn, seeing him as a son finally breaking free after years of pressure and control. They call his public confession raw, painful, but also necessary. But others are just as passionate in defending David and Victoria. They point to decades of love, financial support, and endless opportunities they gave him. To them, Brooklyn's accusations didn't just cross a line, they shattered a boundary that shouldn't have never been crossed in public, no matter how much hurt was behind it. And right in the middle of all this chaos stands Nicola Peltz, the lightning rod for the entire drama. Critics have accused her of being the one pulling Brooklyn away from his family, saying she's encouraged the divide for her own influence. But her supporters are fighting back, arguing she's just an easy target because she represents change. They say it's simpler to blame the new wife than to face the deep cracks already hiding within the family.
Brooklyn, though, hasn't wavered. He's been crystal clear. Nicola isn't controlling him. In fact, he says the opposite is true, that stepping away from his parents finally brought him a sense of peace he'd been chasing his whole life. That's a major point for him, and he's standing by it with no hesitation. And what makes it all even messier? The timing. This isn't some impulsive rant from a young guy looking for attention. It feels calculated, thought out, and possibly years in the making. This entire explosion didn't just happen overnight. It's the result of years of bottled-up frustration finally boiling over. Brooklyn says he tried for so long to keep things private, but that he was pushed to speak out after seeing what he calls constant media narratives coming from his family's side.
Once that line was crossed, he claims staying silent stopped being an option. It was time to set the record straight. And that's what makes this all hit so hard. When Brooklyn announced that he didn't want reconciliation, it didn't sound like some emotional outburst or a temporary break. It felt final, heavy, and intentional. That's a chilling thing for any parent to hear, fame or not. David Beckham, for his part, has only addressed the tension indirectly. He said that children should be allowed to make mistakes and need space to learn. His words were calm and measured, almost like a public statement carefully written to keep emotions in check. Some people see that restraint as wise and mature, but others think it comes off cold, too calm for a situation this raw. Victoria, though, has remained completely silent, not a single public word. Many fans read that silence not as strategy, but as heartbreak. Insiders claim she's devastated by the idea that she might not be part of Brooklyn and Nicola's future children's lives, and that possibility, they say, cuts the deepest of all. So, what happens next? No one knows. Some crisis experts believe time could smooth things out, saying these kinds of public family feuds often lose steam once emotions settle and the spotlight dims. But others aren't so hopeful. They think the damage might be too deep, that the wounds have gone beyond repair, and that this might be one of those breaks that never truly heals. Once accusations like these hit the public eye, there's no going back. No quiet family dinner, no private apology can undo what millions have already seen, read, and picked apart online. And that's the heartbreaking truth. This whole story stopped being just about wedding drama or fashion feuds a long time ago. What we're really watching is a family unraveling in real time, paying the price of what happens when private pain turns into public spectacle. Right now, Brooklyn and Nicola are staying distant, choosing peace over public damage control. They're stepping back from the limelight, showing up less, and taking full control of how their story gets told. Meanwhile, David and Victoria are holding their silence, maybe hoping that quiet dignity will say more than any public denial ever could. And so the world watches, curious, emotional, and divided, wondering if this is truly the end of a long, painful chapter or just the start of something even more permanent. Because when a family built on unity cracks in front of everyone, those fractures don't heal overnight. The once perfect picture is now chipped and raw, showing something real underneath, a family that's not flawless, not untouchable, but human. No matter which side people take, one thing's certain: this story has changed the Beckham image forever. What was once seen as a royal legacy now feels like a reminder that even the most glamorous families can fall apart when the cameras stop rolling. If you've been following this wild saga, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment below. What do you think really happened behind the scenes?